Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Franchise Show with your hosts, Jeff D'Arcy and Jenny Dietrich.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Live from Los Angeles, California, and around the world, this is the Franchise Show, the global voice of franchising at FranchiseShowRadio.com. This week, live from Atlanta, Tannerisms with Greg Tanner of Aaron's Sales and Leasing. Live from Denver, Colorado, Scott Crane and Dave Doty with Smash Sizzle Savor at Smashburger. And live from New York City, Zane Tankel, Chairman and CEO, Apple Metro. And live from Sacramento, California, tax lady Roni Deutch of Roni Deutch Tax Centers. I'm Jeff D'Arcy here in Los Angeles. Another lineup of great guests of founders, CEOs, some of the most rapidly growing, most innovative franchise concepts in today's marketplace. The Franchise Show, now featured on allbusiness.com. The Franchise Show website, FranchiseShowRadio.com, featuring 4G franchising. Twitter at Franchise Show. And this afternoon, as I mentioned, Roni Deutch. Roni, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jeff. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure indeed. I have seen you at ICSC, and Roni Deutch has always had a booth at ICSC, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. We actively participate.
Yes, and I've noticed you have been at ICSC for 20 years, and you've always caught my eye. But are you indeed calling from Sacramento?
Yes, I'm in Sacramento, and I know you're down in L.A., and I just wanted to shout out that I hope my Giants thank your Dodgers today. I just had to get that out.
Okay, well, there's the baseball connection. You know, I Joyce and I have been tweeting a bit and poking some fun at you about, don't try to throw this tax lady out at third base.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had others too. Some of them got a little carried away, so we said, we can't go that far.
Okay, of course not.
Yeah, but obviously a baseball fan, and I grew up being a Dodger fan, so that's healthy, isn't it?
I think it's so healthy, Jeff, because if you really looked at my past, I was born and raised in Southern Cal. Loved the Dodgers when it was the Garvey era, but of course when you move to NorCal for studies and you stay here, you just adopt that NorCal mentality.
Oh, I know you do, and so now you're what are you? You're an expatriate, I guess.
Yes, I am.
And you brought up something that I was going to ask you about too, and it ties into what you've done with your life and when it all started. And you left Southern California and went north, and you went to Berkeley.
Absolutely. Left SoCal, studied for 4 years at Berkeley on a 4-year full-ride scholarship. I got to tell you, it was 4 crazy, wonderful years. You don't remember much about college, but I just had a great experience there.
Well, and Berkeley, and the tie-in that I wanted to just mention to you and see if you had any thoughts about it. We all know Berkeley. Berkeley is a unique school, I think, around the country and around the world for that matter, but it has a culture. And one of the things I always think about Berkeley as and demonstrating, and the student body definitely reflecting, is a social consciousness. Don't you think that's a theme for the school?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Jeff, something I'm proud of is our culture at work and what you learn when you're at Berkeley to be, as you say, socially conscientious and to have the right culture to build a company. I really owe a lot of what I learned about the culture at Berkeley.
And that's perfect, Roni. That's exactly where I was kind of leading you, and you went right there, because I started to see that weave in what you've accomplished, and it first came to mind right off the top, of course, when you focused on those people who were having trouble with the IRS. It's David versus Goliath, obviously, but there's a social commitment there in your culture, I think, to defend and to give an opportunity for the little guy to have representation and maybe beat Goliath.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a great point about the underdog. We know that the IRS, of course, is the big boogeyman and the beast that scares all. And so what I've done over the past 19 years, Jeff, is make representation affordable and to give people a voice when battling the IRS, which then, turned into a whole other business, the Roni Deutch Tax Center. So I pride myself in something. I was raised by a mother who worked 3 jobs, 7 children. We were dirt poor. So I always remember my roots and where I came from.
Wow, that's just a great example of what today's show has to offer, actually, because when I started reading about the guests today and working with Joyce on putting it all together, and obviously we had you, and I knew a bit about you, and I certainly knew a bit about the Roni Deutch Tax Centers and your positioning with helping the little guy against the IRS. I knew all that, and I knew that you had come from zero and had created and accomplished all this. And then the next segment we have Zane Tankel, New Yorker, who started with 1 Applebee's and now has upwards of 30 Applebee's, and he did it through strong leadership and community focus and commitment. And my thinking right away started to become great leaders end up creating great concepts.
And when you think of a great leader, there's always a story behind that great leader and what makes Zane so great, or what I pride myself on as being a great leader is pretty simple, Jeff. I look at myself in the mirror every day and I need to like what I see. I'm not talking physical beauty. That doesn't matter. I'm talking, are you doing the right things? Are you treating your employees well? Do you provide a zealous representation? Are you giving your franchisees an opportunity to kick butt and grow? So those are things, Jeff, that I believe you either have inside of your core or you do not have.
Boy, spoken like a true third baseman. What was your position on the field?
You bet it was third base.
It didn't say that. That was a guess. Pretty good, huh?
It's a great guess, but yes, I was a third basewoman, and I love those shots down the line that you would die for. So, again, all that competitiveness, that risk-taking, the baseball mindset, it really carries over into the business arena.
Well, I want to take up another point that you were making, too, and it ties to the economic climate, the culture within your organization, but really the economic climate today. I don't know if you'd caught Timothy Geithner last night on his town forum, but quite a bit of vision there too in talking about the economy, where it's been, what had to be done to rescue it, hopefully, and what lies ahead. And there's a lot that lies ahead. But how does that tie to tax, not only preparation, but in all these areas of taxation, the economic climate, are tax filers and those who need assistance with the IRS, are they going to confront some different economic issues in their returns, such as the valuation of their assets or unemployment? Are they going to be some new things that they're going to have to consider this year?
Yeah, first of all, Jeff, we've got to address the 40 million people who owe the IRS, who are unemployed, walked from homes, or going through some type of financial devastation. 40 million people owe the IRS, which means we also have a large underground society. So when you think of the financial problems that our government is experiencing, the IRS is a business, Jeff. They need to collect revenue from you and me and all the other 250 million filers. So they are going to become more aggressive with their collection activity. So the environment and the culture right now for the IRS is pretty aggressive, and taxpayers need to do what? Get sound tax advice, get in the system, get the returns done. So it really is affecting individuals on their tax returns. You're absolutely correct.
And that's an incredible figure. 40 million Americans owe the IRS something.
Can you imagine, Jeff, waking up and being unemployed, having personal crisis, and having the IRS send you letter after letter? That is the reality of our world today. So you and I step back and say, what's our common denominators? You ready? Death and taxes. That's why taxes are so sexy to me. They are never going to leave our life. We are always going to have to pay, file, and deal with the IRS.
And aren't they an incredible part of any business organization's structure and mechanics, really? I mean, no decision is made without reference to its tax implications, right?
Certainly. You can ask any guest on your show how much consideration taxation issues have to do with their business environment. And they will say to you, if they're honest,